Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special edition of Zero Fucks Given Radio. The return of the Zero Fucks Given podcast, brought to you by SSC, Services for Educational Janitorial Services, and brought to you by Cox Communications, the best cable and internet provider in America. Tonight we're going to talk about a few things very, very special to DRW. And I am your host, of course, Chris Hero, a.k.a. Connor Underwood in real life. And tonight we're going to go in and out of character on a few topics. We're going to break a few barriers tonight as well. And we're going to talk about a few important things coming to DRW and some of my in-character and out-of-character opinions on some very special topics. Sorry, I'm trying to get my notes all together here. I think I just found them all. I did. I found all my notes, thank God. Okay, so we're going to start things off. First of all, earlier this year, DRW made a very special partnership with WSW, something that we have tried to do with many other organizations and federations throughout our phenomenal 4 years of existence, and they never stuck. Either the feds died, or something of that happened, or me and the other federation owner didn't get along, and we fell out. But earlier this year, we made a partnership with WSW, World Stars Wrestling, World Stars of Wrestling, or Stars of Wrestling, or some name like that, WSW. And they've put on some phenomenal shows since we've been acquainted with them, and we have got some phenomenal talent out of them. For instance, William Morgan, Liam Levine, and many others, along with Bull Harley and Brute Bison, and men of that caliber. And, WSW has benefited, or has helped DRW benefit so much, and now here we are in the month of February, and in the month of April, WSW and DRW will now start hosting an annual cross-brand promotion pay-per-view, and we are talking about doing more than one, but right now we have only set for one date, and that is in April. And we have some phenomenal ideas for that show, and we will get to that later. But the WSW partnership has been very beneficial for DRW, but I had a question come to me out of my Twitter, and I don't have internet on my phone right now, so I cannot look up the tweet. But I wrote down the question as soon as I saw it, and it was asking me my opinions on WSW as a whole, as a federation, and also it asked me about my thoughts and opinions on the company, the roster, and things like that. And as I get to that tweet that I wrote down, it's going to take me a minute here. Here it is. Okay, so he asked me what my opinion was, and he asked me a lot of questions actually in a series of tweets. So tweet number 1: what is your opinion on the WSW management? As people, they're very nice, very nice, very humble. But as management, they I like them. They're very cool, but they're dickheads. They're very opinionated, very unsporty at times. If things don't go their way, they're not happy a lot of the time. They're very picky, and as they should be. They run a very good federation. The owner, the board, they're very smart. I love the way they work, but at the same time, I mean, when you have one guy running 9 accounts, it's not hard to do. Now, the next tweet that came out is my opinion on Adam Rush and Nathaniel Faber both returning to DRW to face each other. Now, earlier in the year, I talked to Adam Rush, a.k.a. Mia, Marsden, who runs the account, or who runs the character. And when we had talked about the character being retired and them leaving the company and the business and the industry and riding off into the sunset. Well, a couple months ago, about 2 months ago, USPW happened, and Adam Rush was reborn. And Adam Rush agreed to come into DRW a couple weeks ago. And the original booked match was against GVD, and that match was going to take place at Dark Mania 4, but that match was switched by Adam Rush and by Nate Faber as they agreed to fight each other, best friends out of the ring, and now they will go toe to toe at Dark Mania, finally, one-on-one. And my opinions about that match, of what could happen, a couple things. Some good, some bad. One, the match could steal the show. You know, the list of matches that we have and have yet to add, but that are booked, are phenomenal on paper. And some matches can be phenomenal on paper and shit in the ring, and some matches can be phenomenal on paper and phenomenal in the ring, and some matches can be shit on paper but phenomenal in the ring. But this match is phenomenal on paper, and I believe it will be phenomenal in the ring. Now, the question is the aftermath. Is it a one-time thing? Is it a one-night only? Are we going to get one of them to go full-time? Are they both back full-time? Is this something... Is this a little tease? Is this something to look forward to? I believe as a wrestling fan, it is going to be a terrific match. As a storyteller, I don't know where they will go from here. Only time will tell, and me talking to both the talents. Another tweet came in talking about my opinion about Dwayne Awesome. Dwayne Awesome, when he first came in NXT, phenomenal guy. Loved him. His matches with Donovan Marks were phenomenal. Dwayne Awesome would pick up the television title and then have phenomenal title defenses, and then he would go on to face William Morgan and beat the unstoppable NXT champion William Morgan. My bad, NXG. And that match was amazing. William Morgan, after capturing the NXT championship from Joshua Hopkins, going on to fight Dwayne Awesome. My pick was William Morgan in that match to take home both titles, but Dwayne Awesome picked it up, and Dwayne Awesome is a phenomenal NXT champion. Now, if you've been living under a rock for the last week, earlier in the week it was announced that Dwayne Awesome would relinquish both the television and NXT championships to join the Extreme Rumble winner, Spinks Payne, and the DRW Ultimate Heavyweight Champion, Joshua Hopkins, in the main event of Dark Mania 4. That match is now a triple threat match for the Ultimate Heavyweight Championship. And that match right there on paper is gold. Spinks Payne with the mixed martial arts background, with the extreme background. Joshua Hopkins built like a brick shithouse and can fight all day, every day, fight forever. And then Dwayne Awesome's never give up attitude, his die-hard will in the ring, and his phenomenal in-ring shape and in-ring ability. That match is going to be phenomenal. Dwayne Awesome, top-notch dude. My opinions on NXT, as many people know, NXT was not my initial idea. NXT was an idea that I got from John Rucker, who created NXT, but I recreated in my own vision. And NXT, it came up had a meteoric rise, and I kind of stalled it out a little bit, and it's rising back to the top with the help of Jason Wallace, and I cannot think to do it enough. NXT is a phenomenal, phenomenal thing, and I hope to make it as bright as DRW one day. We will be crowning a new NXT champion at Dark Mania. We have yet to decide what we are going to do with the NXT Television Championship, and we will be crowning new NXT Tag Team Champions at Dark Mania. That match to be booked later this week. Another tweet came in talking about Dark Mania 4. What are my initial plans? Now, not that I can give away everything, but I will say that for Dark Mania, it is going to be the most and this is bad for me to say, but this is the first pay-per-view in a long time that I'm giving my everything to. All of my passion, all of my ideas, all of it. I have 7 pages of ideas I've wrote down for Dark Mania and 7 moments and everything like that. I hope you guys enjoyed Dark Mania 4 as much as I have enjoyed thinking about everything that will happen. A tweet came out at me talking about a storyline idea that I had posted about earlier this week about a heel versus face storyline that I'm going to write. And the storyline that I have wrote out and that will start taking place at Dark Mania is a 24-month storyline. 2 years. 2 years worth of storyline. And it's going to tell a phenomenal story. I have the whole story wrote out month by month, and I enjoy every bit of the story, especially the end. The end of the story, it is not exactly how you think it is going to end. Another tweet came out of me about the future of DRW, and my future. DRW, we're going to continue on. I have a whole year of pay-per-view ideas wrote down along with the 2-year storyline that I just talked about. The future of DRW is very bright, very, very bright. Earlier this year, I really thought that this was going to be DRW's final year because, you know, the last 2 years have been very, very hectic for me as out of my professional life. It has been very, very hectic for me. I just had a son. He's 7 months old. Me and my wife, ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs, up and downs. And she's pregnant again. We're going to have our second kid soon. And it's been very, very hectic. And thank everybody for sticking with me. I was messaged earlier on Facebook about my opinions on Lonnie Del Monte and Osias Tesfaye. Now, though at first I did not like Lonnie Del Monte, now that I've got to work with Lonnie Del Monte and see the chemistry between him and Osias and see what they bring to the table and see what Lonnie brings to the table as a promoter, Lonnie Del Monte is a genius. You know, he hasn't had the best of luck in running his own federation, and it takes time. I failed at 3 federations before DRW ever took off. So, you know, maybe this is where Lonnie needs to be as DRW. He is running Wednesday Night Supreme, and he has a whole Supreme World Title tournament coming up, and the finals will take place at Dark Mania. I'm very excited for that match to be written. Lonnie Del Monte, professionally, genius. Out of the ring, genius. As a person, great guy. Do I like some of the other people he runs, gimmick-wise and people-wise? No. I don't. But I love Lonnie as a guy. I love the gimmicks. Now, another thing that was asked me a couple weeks ago was the difference between real-life wrestling and e-fetting and what I like more. At times it's e-fetting because at times, you know, you can read NBW whenever you want, and the NBW is fucking phenomenal. You know, not a whole lot of people talk about it, and if they do, I don't listen to the podcast, but NBW is phenomenal. NBW, USPW, the show or two that they did, I enjoyed the content. I knew it wouldn't stick around because of the people that were running it could not get along. You know, the 2 times, the two different HOPW groups that were up at the same time, you know, when you watched both of them post shows, it was almost like they were having a war with each other, and, you know, Tech kind of fell off and Stoner kept it going. And Stoner has been doing a hell of a job over in HOPW. I've heard some bad things lately, but from what I've read, I'm still a fan. Then, you know, you get to UEWF, which is now GWU, and I will not compete for GWU, but I enjoyed UEWF. I enjoyed that they put Spinks Pain at the top of the fucking marquee before I got there. I'm really enjoying having Spinks Pain and Joshua Hopkins and Dwayne Awesome as my top guys right now. TJ Shadows was my top guy for a very long time. TJ Shadows, I have mad respect for, love the guy. Never had a problem with TJ as a person or professionally. The guy would do anything you ever asked of him, literally, unlike Stoner and Christian Rainey, which I love the guys to death, but they're dicks, and they will admit it. But, TJ Shadows, mad respect for, love the guy, thank you for everything you did for DRW. The aspect of wrestling and e-fetting, you know, if you sit down and you write out a wrestling match, it can be beautiful. It can tell a phenomenal story. And it could just be bland as hell. Like, if I see lockups and arm drags for 3 pages, I'm not going to continue reading. I'm going to skip down to the end and find out who won. If it doesn't get if it's only a 5-sentence amazing thing, where like 5 sentences and boom, there's the end, I don't dig it. Not a good end. Short results versus long results. You know, short results get short and sweet to the point. You find out who won, and that's basically what we want, right? I mean, not a whole lot of people actually read results these days, but short results get to the point. Long results tell a story. Like, if there's a storyline in it, yeah, the long result needs to be there. But if not, I mean, short results work. I believe if I posted short results for 6 months straight, I think DRW would still be up and running. VCW was up and running for a long time, and all Rucker did was short results until he started writing long results. Then he went back to short results. My opinions on Tech. First met the guy. He was a drama queen. Very, 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 very bad drama queen. Everybody worked their kinks out with him. I love Tech to death. He's like a brother to me. Tech as a promoter, if he's left alone, phenomenal, genius. When everybody attacks him, he knows he can walk away. He knows he can stay gone. And that's what kills it. He knows he can leave. Me, I don't think I can leave. That's why I stick around. But Tech's a genius, you know. He doesn't get the credit for what he deserves. You know, yeah, he's created a lot of shit, but at the same time, so is everybody else. Everybody's guilty of it. My opinions on Omega Level. Faction storyline really never was one. Yeah, we knew, like, outside of the ring, we were all the clique, but that's all that we're known. Like, we ran e-fetting. And to be honest, we made it boring for a very, very long time. But we also made it entertaining all at the same time. We had fun. And the only thing real about this is the fun and your friends. Unlike the real wrestling business, which the only thing that's real is the money and the miles. My opinions on Jason Saxton, what the fuck ever. My opinions on Josh Steinberg, the person, if I ever saw him in real life, I'd punch him in the mouth. And when I first met him, I thought the guy, phenomenal. He was the something new the industry needed. And it showed in tabloid. It really showed everywhere he went. But about 7-8 months ago, maybe a year ago, he faked cancer to get a world title shot. And he tried making excuse after excuse, saying, "Oh, I really did have cancer." Then he'd say, "No, I really didn't have cancer." And when he said he had cancer, you know, I felt really bad for him because, you know, a lot of my family members have died from cancer. A lot of my friends have died from cancer, but, you know, that's not something you make fun of. You know, I don't go out claiming that I was a part of a school shooting to get a world title shot and then be like, "Hey, that school shooting never happened," or "I was never there." You know, it's just, you don't joke about shit like that. Jason Saxton, the person, is a fuckhead. I'd punch him in the mouth. Jason Saxton, the E-Fetter, phenomenal talent. I've always wanted him to work for DRW because of how I could book him, how I could write him, where I could put him, how DRW could benefit off of him. He is the talent that will most likely never work for DRW because he doesn't want to. Elias Emerson. This guy made his in-ring debut at the Extreme Rumble, and holy hell, he tore the roof off the place. I enjoyed his passion. I enjoyed what he brought. I enjoyed writing it. I enjoyed everything about Elias. He's a hell of an Intercontinental Champion, and I hope at Dark Mania he retains. My opinions on William Morgan. Monster. I love him. I love the guy. I love TJ, the guy that runs him. I love William Morgan, the gimmick. You know, you don't see a lot of monstrous heels. You know, a guy that plays a big guy. You know, William Morgan popping up with Braun Strowman was something new. You know, you don't see the big shows and the Kevin Nashes and the Abysses anymore. All you see is the AJ Styles, the Mark Andrews, the Seth Rollinses, the Kevin Owens, the Adam Coles, Young Bucks, Okadas, NATOs, you know, people like that. Roderick Strong, you know, so on and so forth. You don't see a whole lot of monsters anymore, and I enjoy William Morgan. He's going to be a big star. Very, very big star. My opinion on Joshua Hopkins. In the beginning, I had no direction with him. Really didn't think he was ever going to go anywhere. Really didn't think he was gonna. I didn't think he had anything to offer, and yet he's became one of the biggest stars in DRW in the past 6 months, and he has 6 more months to become Breakout Star of the Year. Or he did win Breakout Star of the Year, I believe, this year. If he didn't, Spinks Payne did. But Joshua Hopkins is a hell of a guy. You know, and he's using the Gunner rep, which really nothing special about the rep, but what he makes the rep is special. Because you believe that that's Gunner out there. You believe that that's him. And it adds something to Gunner as well, and I enjoy it. Hopkins is a phenomenal talent. The next tweet right along with it, my opinions on Payne, Spinks Payne, formerly known as Dark Terror. I hated the name Dark Terror. Hated it with a passion. But now that he's just Spinks Payne, I love it. I love the Tommy End pick rep. Though Tommy End is very overused at times, I love how Payne uses him. My thoughts on Tyler H, a.k.a. Tyler Mullins. Alright, so I've known the guy since I started, or a year after I started, I met him. At first, didn't like him. He was a Triple H carbon copy, and still was until 2 years ago. You know, I tried helping him. He's been Tyler H, he's been Matt Tyler. He tried everything that works, and now with Tyler H, with just being him, you know, he's a big Triple H fan, and, you know, the Tyler H name works. Yeah, he does the pedigree, but he also does a lot more things than Triple H does. I'm using the Triple H pick rep sometimes. I think I'm better than Tyler at it, but, you know, because Tyler's just kind of bland with the Triple H thing. He talks just like Triple H, and I don't like that, so I make him use a different pick rep, but Tyler this year alone has gave me everything he has, and I enjoy it. He's been rewarded for it. We've benefited from it. He's benefited from it. He's fixed me part of a major storyline, and I love it. Earlier this month, he lost his father, and he's been dealing with that outside of E48. And that's why he hasn't been around. That's why he hasn't been posting promos. And I understand that I would not be posting promos if I just lost an important parent in my life either. My heart is out to Tyler. My prayers are out there to Tyler and his family. And, you know, nobody should have to bury their parent. You know, that's just... I wish I could say that that's how it should be. I wish that's how it was, but it's not. But my heart and prayers are out to you, Tyler. We love you. And we continue on. Thoughts of owners being champions. That was a trendy thing back in the day. I done it. I had to do it. Messiah was a very bland champion when he started holding the belts, the main belts, because he had no real direction with his gimmick. I'll be the guy to tell him that. Messiah as a person is good, though. Like, I'll get to him in a minute. But sometimes owners have to do it because you want the job right. You got to do it yourself. And then sometimes it's unnecessary, like URW. Dom didn't have to be champion. Disciple of Metal didn't have to be the champion. Disciple of Metal wanted to be champion. And, it's a very trendy thing because I think I had, where was I that the owner was a champion? If it wasn't WSW, it was somewhere right after I joined it. I don't remember what it was, but the owner was a champion, and he had an open challenge, and I accepted it. I got kicked from the group. I didn't like it. That brings me to my next thing that I wanted to talk about. Guys, I've been around in E-Feds almost 10 years. For 4 of those years, I was in 10 feds at one time for 4 years straight. I didn't have a job. I didn't go to school. I stayed on my computer all day long. And when you E-Fed every single day, it is not hard to go to a jobber fed and pick up the world title 100 times. Actually, it's been 10 years and I'm finally a 100-time world champion. So, ask Chris Trotter. He's like almost a 200-time world champion, if not more. On to my next thing. My thoughts and opinions on Joshua Collins. As a guy, I find him very, very outgoing. Very sweet and loving person. As a E-Fedder, very, very, very unreliable. He gets mad and gets reported, or he gets mad and he leaves. Very unreliable. I would not put the world title on him in my group, but I have seen him be a successful world champion other places. My thoughts on Steve Starkiller Smith. He went on record and said that we created him. DRW created the Starkiller, gave him the platform to launch on, and he's been a phenomenal guy ever since then. I hate how he left. I hope to bring him in for one run to fix that all, and then he leaves, rides into the sunset. Yippee-ki-yay. I love him as a person. I love him as an E-Fedder. Sometimes he's too cocky. Sometimes his blood's made out of money. Whatever. Shoot promos, and where did they go? Shoot promos. Well, Adam Rush is back, so they might have a comeback. But I believe the shoot promos died after, the clique just kind of killed everybody that was doing it. Tech did one real famous one where he put a picture of Christian Rainey's real girlfriend in a picture and was going to do a promo with it. And that created some hell. So, that was... Shoot promos died because of things like that. I believe shoot promos will make a comeback. I don't think they will be back for very long when they do. Josh Knight's still around, so maybe not. Thoughts on USPW and its demise? Am I the only one that's seen it coming? I mean, for one, Mia's going to hit me when I say this. She can't run a Fed longer than 3 months. 3 months is her max. The first month is excellent. Second month is even better. The third month is where it dies. And it's not because of her consistency. It's because of her wanting to do several things at one time. Wanting to rely on 7 people at one time. Not good for her. She's a person that should, join an already famous Fed and do that. Thoughts on Feds I want to succeed in. I would like to have a real run with WSW, and I will. I'm going to talk with the management soon about a storyline I have in mind to run over there outside of DRW. And WSW is kind of it. I don't have anywhere else I really want to go. I would like to have one legit run in Stoner's HOPW and say goodbye. I would like to have one real run in NBW and give Rainey all that I have for what he did for me back in the day. Things like that. If Phil ever actually up and runs CRW legitly, even though I am the CRW champion currently, if CRW ever comes back to being an E-Fed instead of a CAW-Fed and, rely on their results on WWE, hit me up. When will Chris Zero fully retire? Dark Mania is kind of it for me in DRW-wise. It's my last in-ring match because now I feel like I don't have to compete in DRW for it to survive. It took 4 years, but I feel like the talent pool I have now, I don't have to rely on me. I don't have to go in and do it myself. I can rely on them. And I love that because now I can just go in there, write a show, be done, goodbye. See you guys later, promo your asses off. And, that also gives me time to compete somewhere else. Then again, I loved competing in DRW because I knew what was happening. But it comes to that thing where, you never know. Chris Hero could not retire at Dark Mania. Chris Hero could fully be gone at Dark Mania. Only time will tell. But guys, this has been a phenomenal podcast. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening. I will post this as soon as I get home. Thank you guys. Good night.